Ever taken 3 practice tests and gotten basically the same score 3 times? I can almost guarantee you the problem is how you're practicing, and that's fixable. In this video, I'm going to show you how to actually study for the SAT. The exact plan that I use with my own students. I'll explain where to start, what to drill, what to skip until later, and how to stop repeating the same mistakes over and over again. If you appreciate this type of content, tap the like button and hit subscribe for more SAT content just like this. Let's be blunt for a second. The reason your score is not improving is because you're treating practice tests like practice. A practice test only measures your score. Changing it takes a completely different kind of work. If your entire plan is take a practice test every Saturday, you're basically stepping on a scale over and over again and wondering why you're not getting in shape. To understand what studying should look like, you need to understand what this test actually is. The SAT tests relatively simple concepts in unorthodox, tricky ways, and it does this on purpose. Think about why colleges even use the SAT. It's the one tool they have to compare a massive number of high school students who all took different classes with different teachers and different grading. And because the College Board does not want a huge lawsuit, every question has to have exactly one defensible correct answer. It can't test calculus because not everyone took calculus, and it can't be subjective, so every question must have an unambiguously correct answer. So instead, it takes algebra you learned 2 years ago and wraps it into packaging designed to trip you up. The good news, it's very repetitive. The packaging is predictable, which means studying the content alone will never be enough. You have to study the packaging. That's the whole game, and it's why the plan will look the way it does. Step 1, take a full practice test in Blue Book, the actual app you'll test in, under real conditions, timed, no phone, no pausing to check an answer. The first test exists to gather information. The score is the least useful thing it gives you, and honestly, it should be the lowest score you ever get on an SAT. Step 2 is where almost everyone gets it wrong. After the test, you go through every single problem and you flag anything that wasn't instantly easy and obvious. That's 3 categories. The ones you got wrong, obviously, the ones you guessed on and got lucky, and the ones you got right, but slowly. Most students only review their wrong answers, which means they're ignoring a lot of their potential for improvement. A question you half guessed on is a question you'll miss next time. And a question that took you 3 minutes is quietly stealing time from 2 questions at the end of the module, and that stolen time might be the difference between getting those last couple of questions right or wrong. Now, for every flagged problem, you need the root cause. The real reason a problem gets flagged is generally one of a few things. You didn't know a concept, you fell for a trap, you misread part of the question, you took a needlessly complicated approach, or you ran out of time. I was careless is not actionable. Avoid using this excuse at all costs. The single fastest way to find your root cause, watch someone better than you walk through the same problem deliberately and ask one question. What did they think that I didn't think? What did they notice in the first 5 seconds that I never noticed at all? That gap, that's the thing you're studying. And when you find it, write it down as a 1-sentence rule, something specific like, when an answer choice repeats exact words from the passage, be suspicious. The right answer is usually a paraphrase. Be more careful doesn't work. It's not specific. It's not actionable. Do this for 2 months and you end up with a personal rule book of 30 to 40 rules written specifically for the ways your brain gets fooled. That document is worth more than any prep book you can buy. As an aside, this is honestly one of the best things a good tutor does for you. We find those gaps way faster than you can find them on your own and hand you personalized tools and practice to fix them. One more thing here, and this might be the most important 20 seconds of the video. Feedback has to be fast. If you do 50 practice problems and check your answer 3 days later, or never, you're rehearsing your mistakes. Repetition without correction masters your bad habits. Put another way, the longer your score has been stuck, the longer those bad habits have been calcifying. Every week you keep practicing without specific feedback and correction, you're getting better at doing it wrong. This is exactly why I built Pattern SAT. It's free. You take a short diagnostic on patternsat.com. It finds your weakest skills, and when you miss a question, it immediately names the exact trap that you fell for and walks you through it. That's an instant feedback loop built in. Link in the description and the pinned comment below. Step 3. Once you know your weak spots, you drill by skill. Math students tend to do this instinctively. Nobody reviews math They review systems of equations or exponent rules, but almost nobody does it in English, partly because the College Board doesn't define the English skills as concretely. It doesn't matter. The skills are there: transitions, main ideas, structure of the text. Pick one skill and do like 20 or 30 problems of just that with immediate feedback until it gets boring. And then move to the next one. My approach to every single reading and writing skill is in my most recent video, so I'll drop the link in the description. For pattern SAT, skill-by-skill drilling is the whole design. If there's a math topic that's genuinely foggy, like you really never learned it, Khan Academy is a great place to patch the content gap. Then come back and drill the SAT's version of it, and retest with a full practice test every like 2 or 3 weeks. The full test is your measuring stick. Your daily skill drilling is like the workout. So step 4, let's talk about speed, because everyone worries about the wrong thing here. Accuracy matters way more than speed. Getting a question wrong means there's a gap in your knowledge or your approach. That's a real problem. Getting a question right slowly usually means you picked an inefficient path, which is a much easier fix. And honestly, speed mostly fixes itself as your skills sharpen. But you should still pay attention to the clock when you review. My flag is about 90 seconds. If a problem took longer than that, there was probably a faster way. Eliminating 2 answers before doing any real work, skipping straight to what the question actually asks instead of reading every word of a passage, or throwing the whole thing into Desmos and letting it do the algebra for you. Some question types can consistently be solved in under 20 seconds, which will take a lot of pressure off when you're dealing with the hardest math and reading problems. Find the faster way during review. That way it's already sitting in your toolbox on test day. Here's a fun fact about the top scorers. Most 1500 plus students are choosing between 2 or 3 different approaches on every single math problem. That's the goal. So if a math problem takes you more than 90 seconds, challenge yourself to solve it a second way, even if you got it right. Step 5. So you took your diagnostic and now you're staring at a pile of flagged questions. Where do you start? Because not all improvement costs the same. Some parts of this test are cheap points and some are expensive points. And no matter how much time you have until the SAT, you go for the cheap ones first. Picture the test as a pyramid. Easiest gains at the bottom, hardest at the top. 2 rules of thumb from the bottom. If you're scoring below 650 in math, here's your assignment. Try to use Desmos on every single math problem. Every one. You will fail. Plenty of problems Desmos genuinely can't help you with, but the habit of trying to use Desmos on every problem will take you surprisingly far, because the answer is yes, way more often than you think. Second, if you're missing more than 1 standard English convention question per practice test, stop everything and learn the grammar rules. There's a finite list. I linked a guide in the description. And get to at least 90% accuracy before you grind dense reading problems. Grammar is learnable in just hours. And the top of the pyramid, vocabulary and the hardest Module 2 reading questions, save those for last. They're learnable, but they're the most expensive points on the test. And if your time is limited, it's almost certainly better spent lower down the pyramid. Step 6. The question everyone asks, how much do I need to study? The honest answer is, it depends. And anyone who hands you one number for every student is making it up. It depends on your starting score, your goal, and your specific weak spots. But as a rough anchor, if you want a 200 plus point improvement in 2 to 3 months, plan on at least 30 focused minutes a day. Focused meaning drilling and reviewing the way I just described, not passively watching more videos like this one, and I see you, and not grinding random problems with no specific skills that you're trying to master. And look, you know yourself. Don't take my 30 minutes a day as gospel. Some people will need a lot more, and for some people, a single sentence of advice boosts them 50 points overnight. But regardless of who you are, a little bit every day is better than 4 hours once a week. That's true for the SAT, and it's true for basically every skill in your life. So that's the plan. Take a real diagnostic, review everything that wasn't instantly easy for you, wrong, lucky, slow, find the root cause, and write yourself a rule. Drill by skill with instant feedback, chase accuracy, and let speed come with time. And start with skills lower on the pyramid. Do that for 2 months and your score stops being stuck. Because for the very first time, every hour you put in is actually aimed at something.